Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. I hope your day, your week, and your weekend have been going very well so far. The NFL Week 4 is officially upon us, and with that comes another edition of Sunday Night Football. This week's matchup is a big one. We have the Green Bay Packers visiting the Dallas Cowboys in the Micah Parsons Bowl. It's going to be a big-time game. It's a big-time rivalry. And as always, guys, I've got some really great picks to go ahead and share with you. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. And one last thing, guys, before we dive into the picks, make sure to stick around to the end of the video every single week here for our Sunday Night Football picks videos. We do a little Amazon gift card giveaway. The rules for the contest are pretty simple. Every single Sunday Night Football picks video, I end the video with an anytime touchdown player prop. All you have to do is comment the name of that player, whether it be his first name, his last name, comment the name of that player, and if that player prop touchdown bet cashes, one lucky commenter will win a free $25 Amazon gift card. So make sure to stick around to the end of the video, comment the name of that player, and then if he scores a touchdown, you could win both an Amazon gift card and your bet. So make sure to stick around for that. With all that being said, guys, let's go ahead and dive into this big-time NFC battle between the Packers and the Cowboys. All right, guys, 8:20 p.m. kickoff here. The spread is 6.5 in the favor of Green Bay. The total is set at 46.5. Now, this game, without the whole Micah Parsons factor, was already going to be a big-time game. The Cowboys and Packers have had this really tight rivalry for the past decade plus. There have been a ton of memorable battles between these two teams, whether it be postseason or regular season. The last time these two teams played was in the playoffs of 2024 when Green Bay absolutely kicked Dallas's ass. But obviously now with the Micah Parsons trade that happened just a little over a month ago, there's another wrinkle to this rivalry, and this game is highly anticipated. It's Micah Parsons' first game back in Jerry World since being traded to the Packers. A lot of bad blood there, a lot of great storylines. For my first pick for this game, we're going to do a spread pick here. And I got to be honest, guys, I am definitely taking the Packers all day long. My first pick is Green Bay on the spread, minus 5.5. Now, the actual spread is 6.5. I'm shaving a point off. Why, you may ask? If you see my videos before, I basically shave a point off of every single spread or total or whatever. I've seen too many bets lose by 1 point or 2 points that I'd rather sacrifice a little value, take it at a point lower, and have a better chance of hitting. And the value is not bad, minus 5.5. I'm grabbing that on Novig for minus 124. It is available on multiple sportsbooks for varying odds. If I'm being honest, guys, I don't hate minus 6.5 either. I just, like I said, I always shave a point off just to play things on the safer side. So if you have 6.5, if you don't feel comfortable betting minus 144 on DraftKings, for example, I'm not mad at minus 6.5 either. Once you get to 7.5, that's where things start to get a little dicey. As long as the number is 7 or lower, I like the spot. The only reason I have any fear towards this bet is the fact that it's such a public play. Everybody is on Green Bay. I don't know, even Cowboys fans are not confident that Dallas is going to cover or win this game. Green Bay is just such an obvious side, and sometimes that can be very scary because not the obvious side isn't always the right side, and that's the only thing that really kind of gives me resolve here. Everything else points to Green Bay in this game. We go over the dashboard over on Guy Boston Sports. We kind of go through some of the numbers here. It has not been good for the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, defensively this season, they have been a mess. 27th in the NFL in points per game allowed. The dead last in the NFL, giving up 288 passing yards per game. Obviously, that Russell Wilson game with the Giants definitely skews the numbers a little bit. But honestly, Caleb Williams had a big game. Jalen Hurts didn't really throw too much, which honestly makes these numbers even worse considering that the Eagles barely threw the football in that game. They haven't generated a lot of turnovers. This defense is not very good. And if these numbers don't do it for you, looking down below here at the DVOA numbers, Dallas's defense right now in terms of DVOA ranks dead last in the National Football League. 32nd passing grade, 20th in run grade. And if you don't believe those numbers, PFF currently has Dallas as the second worst graded defense in totality in the NFL. Only Miami has been worst according to PFF. So any metric you want to go ahead and use, Dallas' defense has been an absolute disaster. And offensively has been their strength, but even offensively, they've been a little shaky, like last week versus the Bears was not the best offensive showing. Dallas basically needs to win every single game in a shootout. And that's a problem because you're going against the best defense in the NFL right now, next to maybe the Cleveland Browns. Sorry, Packers fans. But jokes aside, Green Bay's defense, I think, truly is the best in the NFL. Right now, number 1 in points per game allowed. A lot of great numbers there for Green Bay's defense. You go down below to DVOA, and they literally are the number 1 defense in the NFL in terms of DVOA. This is the best passing defense in the NFL. A bit of a problem because Dallas, obviously, they're going to need to score with Dak Prescott in this game. Very strong pass defense. Very strong run defense. Their pass rush right now, one of the best in the league. Again, according to PFF, Green Bay so far this year has the third highest graded pass rush unit in the NFL. Kind of a problem because Dallas's pass blocking grade, bottom 10 in the league. Run blocking grade, bottom 10 in the league. Their offensive line has not been great this year. A bit of a problem. I actually misspoke there for a second, guys. I apologize. They actually aren't bottom 5 in run blocking grade, but pass blocking grade, they have the second worst pass blocking grade according to PFF in the NFL this year. So a lot of bad numbers here for Dallas, and this is kind of reiterating my point where I just don't see Green Bay losing this game. They have a very strong defense. Offensively, there's some question marks. If we go back over the dashboard screen, again, the DVOA numbers right now, 15th offense from DVOA. It's not a terrible offense. There's definitely room for improvement. The passing game's been decent so far. The running offense with Josh Jacobs hasn't really gotten going. To be fair, though, we're still in that early part of the year where one game can massively skew the numbers. Obviously, that Browns game last week did not help their numbers. So you had the third best pass rush in the NFL against the second worst pass blocking grade. I'm not a scientist, guys, but that can't be good for the Dallas Cowboys. To add insult to injury, they have this insight provided by Outlier. The Dallas Cowboys are 3-6 against the spread in their last 9 games at home. Not a huge home field advantage lately at Jerry World, okay? And then the Green Bay Packers are 11-3 straight up in their last 14 games as a favorite. Now, obviously, we're talking spread here, not favorites. But, Green Bay, when they've been a favorite, more often than not, they've taken care of business, again, except for last week. Ultimately, my problem with the Cowboys is their formula for winning games is just score as many points as possible. The defense, they know their defense is not going to get any stops. This is one of the worst defenses in the NFL. You have to get in shootouts. Look at the New York Giants game. Look at the Eagles game, okay? That's what happened last week in Chicago. They couldn't move the ball. They couldn't get in a shootout. And what happens? They get blown out in that game. The problem here is that I just don't think Dak Prescott in this Cowboys offense is going to be able to keep that high tempo of scoring. Now, maybe Green Bay's offense stalls out. Who knows? But considering how bad this Dallas defense has been and what they've let other teams do, I can't imagine Green Bay won't score a healthy amount of points in this one. And I just don't think Dallas's offense against this stifling Green Bay defense is going to be able to keep up the scoring. I really don't. In order to beat the Green Bay Packers, and it showed last week, you don't have to be this great offensive team. If the Packers defense slows you down, you can still win. The Browns showed you that last week, but you got to have the defense to back you up. Green Bay's defense, the Browns only scored 13 points last week. It's not like they had this great offensive explosion. The Packers held them down. They had 0 points for the majority of that game. And then the second half, the Browns started to score a little bit, but they gave up 1 touchdown and 2 field goals. Wasn't like the Browns poured it on. The Packers defense did its job. The problem is the Green Bay offense could not get things going against that stout Browns defense. The Cowboys cannot do the same game plan. They can't look at that Browns film and say, we're going to replicate that. They don't have the defense anywhere near where Cleveland was. They're not going to be able to slow Green Bay down. Green Bay coming off of a loss. I haven't even mentioned the Micah Parsons factor yet. You know he's going to be extra motivated. That pass rush is going for Dak Prescott all night long. Again, my only fear here, guys, is just the fact the public is so heavy on this play. If it wasn't for that, that's the only thing that gives me any sort of fear in this pick. All the numbers, all the rankings, all the statistics, all the storylines, everything points to Green Bay in this spot. I think they have the better coach. I think Dak's a slightly better quarterback than Jordan Love, but it's not that different. And I forgot to mention, CeeDee Lamb's not even playing. Their number 1 wide receiver is out. Like I said, all of these signs are pointing to Green Bay. We look down below here, CeeDee Lamb. Let's see where he is on the injury report. Out. And they have a lot of other injuries as well, but CeeDee Lamb obviously being a massive one. The only reason to fade this pick is if you think that, obviously if you're a believer that the public betting numbers do play a role, because the public is obviously hammering Green Bay in this spot, but for good reason. Green Bay should win this game by 14 points at least. They are far and away the better team. I'm betting the logical side here. Again, if you want to go ahead and fade the Packers because you think the public betting affects it, and public betting I think does have a place, but in this circumstance, the Packers are just too damn good of a team to lose this game and not cover. So I like Packers here, -5.5. Now, I know I talked for a while there, guys, and I only gave out 1 pick so far, but because we had that in-depth conversation, it's going to save me some time here for my next play. So I was looking at a total play for this game. The total set at 46.5. I don't love the line. Now, both of these teams have hugged this line consistently all season long. If you take the 6 games combined between the Packers 3 games and the Cowboys 3 games, in 5 of those 6 games, the total points scored reached 40 points. So they've hugged this line. They've gone close to this line pretty consistently. The problem is only one of those 6 games has this line of 46.5 over actually been cashed. So there have been a lot of close games. We jump back to the outlier screen here. We can see For the Cowboys, right, they had a total of 45 last week. Very close, so 44 in the first game. Like, they've hugged this line of 46.5 all year long. You go to the Green Bay side, a little bit different story. Now, they have gotten 40 twice. The Commanders game got to 45, very close, only missed by 2 points. The Browns game obviously was the lowest one at 23. I am leaning over here, but the problem is at 46.5, I just feel like it's a little couple points too high. You also have the insights provided by Outlier, which tell us the over has hit in 6 of the Cowboys' last 9 games. Now, instead of taking the risk, because obviously we just talked about Green Bay's defense, very good. I think Green Bay will carry most of the scoring load in this game. I just don't know if Dallas will be able to contribute enough from a scoring perspective to get to this total. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to make a little 2-leg parlay, basically a teaser if we're being honest, with a couple of alternate lines. So the first leg is going to be this over, but we're going to take it all the way down to 39.5. Now, when you do it at this line, the numbers are way better. Now, 5 out of 6 games, these over, between the two teams, the over has hit. All 3 of Dallas's games, this over of 39.5 has cash. And in 2 of the 3 Packers games, this over of 39.5 has cash. So some very good numbers there, obviously, when we go ahead and make that alternate line. And for the second leg of the parlay, we're going to go and take the Packers spread, but taking it down a few points to -2.5. Now, when you parlay both these together over on FanDuel, it's -118 odds. So it's not like it's a plus money play. It's not a massive bet. But if you're like me and you think Green Bay is going to win this game, -2.5 has to hit, right? Maybe there's some trickery happens and maybe Dallas keeps it within a touchdown. But Green Bay is winning this football game, and I think they're going to win by a minimum of 3 at the very least. So take Packers -2.5. Take that alternate total of over 39.5. It's -118. It's not a big-time bet. But I think there's a lot of good numbers, a lot of good data to back that up. Great matchup for Green Bay. Now we have an adjusted total where Green Bay really, if they score anywhere near 30 points, Dallas is going to score at least a couple here. Okay, they're going to get at least 14 to 17 points in this game. I think, again, Green Bay will do most of the heavy lifting. But Dallas should be able to score enough where that over of 39.5 should be able to go ahead and hit. All right, guys, very quickly here, I have 2 player props to close out today's video. But first, I want to talk to you guys about the sponsor of today's video, Chalkboard. If you like player props and haven't given Chalkboard a go yet, you are absolutely missing out. Right now, they have an incredible sign-up offer for new users. If you sign up today, they'll give you a free $20, no deposit necessary. That, my friends, is what I call a deal. You need to make sure to go ahead and use code GUYBOSTON to trigger that bonus, though. So make sure to go ahead and do that. Head over to the link down below in the description and or the pinned comment. Download Chalkboard, sign up with code GUYBOSTON, and claim your free $20 today. Again, the link will be down below in both the description and the pinned comment. Thank you to Chalkboard for sponsoring today's video. Now, back to the show. All right, guys, so 2 player props. I have a receiver prop, and then I also have our anytime touchdown prop that we'll close out the video with. This one, I had to take a Packer receiver because obviously this Cowboys defensive matchup is too sweet to not take advantage of. It's just a question of what Packers receiver did I want to go ahead and target. I think this is the one. We're going with Matthew Golden over 45.5 receiving yards. I'm grabbing that for -114 over on FanDuel. Best odds available to me. The rookie wide receiver thus far this year. The first couple games pretty quiet, but then last week versus Cleveland, he had his best game as a pro yet with 52 receiving yards in that game. As a Matthew Golden fantasy owner, I'm really hoping he continues to grow and improve because I need him. A little thin at wide receiver. The key thing, obviously, there have been some injuries, but he got his most targets of the year last week. 4 targets. He caught all 4 of his targets last week. And ended up with those yards. I just think in this matchup, they're going to throw the ball a lot. Now, they have been a more run-heavy team than a pass-heavy team. You look down below here, Matthew Golden just a 10.8% target share, which obviously isn't great. But to be totally fair, I don't think he needs a ton of targets to cash this line. Again, he only needed 4 targets last week to get it. And the matchup is very, very sweet. Look at the numbers versus wide receivers. They are dead last in the NFL, giving up 220 yards per game to opposing wide receivers. Their defense actually isn't that bad versus tight ends, which is why I think a wide receiver will have a big game here. They're ranked right now, the Dallas Cowboys, 12th in receiving yards allowed per game to tight ends. So they're actually not bad at defending tight ends in terms of receiving yards allowed, but wide receivers are having a field day. And I do think Matthew Golden cashed that line last week versus Cleveland. I don't see why he can't cash it again this week versus Dallas. Again, unfortunately, because it's early in the year and it's his first season, we don't have a ton to go off of from a data standpoint. But if you look down below here, these are the wide receivers in previous weeks taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Last week, Roma Dunze, Luther Burden, Zacchaeus, all of those guys cashed. And I think one of the key things is that with DJ Moore being wide receiver 1, he didn't cash his line. It was the wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, although Roma Dunze this year has technically been the wide receiver 1 for the Bears. But Wandale Robinson had a massive game. Malik Neighbors had a big game. Slayton. You go back to week 1, Jahan Dotson. The Eagles weren't even throwing the ball that much, and Jahan Dotson cashed that line. So I think him being more like a wide receiver 2 or 3 might actually be a little bit more of an advantage to him in this spot. And we go back to the dashboard over on Guy Boston Sports. Right now, we are projecting Matthew Golden to be basically the wide receiver 1 in this offense, and he has a very easy matchup as always, like we mentioned. So yeah, pretty good spot for -114. I think it's worth taking a crack at. And for my final pick in today's video, guys, our anytime touchdown player prop. Yeah, I'm doubling down on Golden here. Matthew Golden, anytime touchdown. Grabbing it for +240 over on FanDuel. So comment Golden or Matthew Golden down below in the comment section. If he scores a touchdown, one lucky commenter will win a free $25 Amazon gift card. I'm doubling down on Golden. We don't have to spend too much time because we just obviously broke it down. But the Cowboys right now, second worst defense in the NFL, giving up 2 touchdowns per game to opposing wide receivers. Again, I think he's going to have a pretty big one here. Matthew Golden is. Now, unfortunately, red zone work, he hasn't got a ton. If you look right now so far, red zone target share, we go down below here, red zone targets, he hasn't gotten a lot. Okay, he does have very little work, actually no work at all. But again, it's all about the matchup. If you look down below here, a lot of wide receivers have scored touchdowns against this Cowboys defense. I think Golden's going to get a really big look here. He's the wide receiver they're the most invested in at this point. I know they have Dubes and they got Datavian Wicks and these other guys. Matthew Golden, they drafted pretty high, and they have high expectations for him. I think they're going to look to him a lot in this game. Very good matchup, very good chance to get the young kid going. So I have him over receiving yards, and I have him anytime touchdown as my final play in today's video. All right, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. We'll be back next week with another edition of Sunday Night Football. Until then, guys, I hope you're all winners. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy this big-time NFC showdown between the Packers and the Cowboys. Let's go ahead and make some money, baby. Let's go.